Part 159. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1581. Hu Lan knew that Lu Zhang and his wife had a good reputation. Over the years in the capital, she had not given up on interpersonal relationships. She often heard people around her say that they were kind, and of good conduct, and that they could be friends without worrying about them stabbing them in the back. People. There are not many people in the entire capital who can be praised by everyone. She was worried that Li Jiaoyang would get up early to buy a ticket to go to the capital. After asking about the Lu family's residence, she lingered at the door before 6 o'clock, startling Lu Zhang, who dragged his wife out for a run. It's 6 o'clock in winter and it's still dark. Who are you? Feng Qingxiu shouted out a cloud of white mist. Comrade Qingxiu, right? I am Hu Lan, I'm sorry to disturb you. Feng Qingxiu hurriedly pulled her in. Comrade Hu Lan, when did you arrive? You are an elder, isn't it normal for Jiaoyang to see you? Why did you come here by yourself? Did you come all night? Come in quickly, come inside quickly, it's so cold outside. Ah Zhang, hurry up and get Tang Posa some hot water and wake up the sun. Hu Lan sat firmly and said, No, let him have a good rest. Wasn't he a member of the army who just arrived yesterday? He must be very tired. I'm not cold, but I just can't sleep. I want to see the child as soon as possible to save him from buying a ticket to the capital. And I missed it? Poor parents in the world, Feng Qingxiu sighed in her heart. Lu Zhang and Li Jiaoyang came over soon. Li Jiaoyang, who was a little confused, woke up the moment he saw Hu Lan, and Hu Lan was already so excited that she couldn't control herself. Child, my child, Hu Lan wanted to stand up but felt that her legs were as weak as noodles. Li Jiaoyang stepped forward quickly and knelt on one knee in front of her. Mom, I am Jiaoyang. Hu Yan's reaction was to hug him and cry. Feng Qingyun slept in the same bed with her niece last night. She heard voices coming from the main room in a daze, and she woke up. At this time, she heard a suppressed and intense cry, as if she was being comforted by Li Jiaoyang. The sound was mixed in. She put on her clothes lightly, opened the curtain and came out. She still didn't know anything about the situation in the main room. When Feng Qingxiu saw her sister, she hurriedly waved and said, Xiaoyun, come and see your aunt Hu. Li Jiaoyang also patted Hu Yan's arm. Mom, let me introduce you. She is Feng Qingyun, the person I have decided to hold hands with for the rest of my life. I originally planned to go to the capital to see you with her, but we are busy with work in the group. She can't get away. Hello Aunt Hu, did you come here overnight? You should wait at home for the sun to see you. Hu Lan wiped her tears. Although she was a little surprised because of Feng Qingyun's age, she quickly showed a loving smile and said, Hey, okay, good child, come here and let me take a look. I know everything. Thank you for letting me know we found the sun. Li Jiaoyang immediately pulled Feng Qingyun to Hu Lan. Yes, I still remember the scene when Yun asked me for help. Feng Qingxiu thought to herself that the triplets should probably be the most grateful. She was suffering from severe morning sickness at that time, so her sister went to Li Jiaoyang and asked him for help. However, fate, everything is fate, everything is a coincidence. Hu Lan obviously liked Feng Qingyun very much and was not dissatisfied because of the big age difference between her and Li Jiaoyang. He held her with one hand and Li Jiaoyang with the other, and finally put his two hands together. For me, finding the sun is the greatest joy. Her son is safe and she will not object to anything he means. There are more than 13,000, keep up the good work, please vote. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1582. Seeing Hu Yan's amiable attitude towards her sister, Feng Qingxiu was heartbroken. When marrying a girl, it is important to see if she has a mother-in-law who understands justice. After breakfast, Feng Qingyun and Li Jiaoyang coaxed Hu Lan to go to bed to rest. She was over 50 years old and rushed over overnight, which meant she looked 100 times more energetic on the surface. Sleep is very important. If you don't sleep all night, it will take many days for a normal person to recover. What's more, Hu Yan's health is not good, she is very weak, and her weakness is obvious at a glance. Hu Lan refused to sleep, staring at Li Jiaoyang. Li Jiaoyang said softly, "If I don't leave, I will guard you. The first thing you see when you open your eyes will definitely be me." Hu Lan closed her eyes and instantly fell into a deep sleep. In his sleep, he was smiling. The Lu family worked and went to school. Only the old couple Cheng Baoqiu and the orderlies were at home with the triplets. They walked around outside and came back. Hu Lan was still sleeping. She's too tired. She won't be able to wake up if she doesn't sleep for a whole day and a night. Li Jiaoyang also knows a little about healthcare. Cheng Baoqiu nodded slightly. Xiaoxiu left a recipe for herbal preparation before she left. She took out a stick of old wild ginseng. "I guess I checked your mother's pulse while chatting with her." I turned around and asked Zule to cut 2 slices. "Old ginseng, make some soup for your mother to replenish herself." Li Jiaoyang was very grateful. "I'll do it myself. I can also cook and make soup." He has been accustomed to taking care of himself since he was a child. Although Hu Lan felt extremely sorry for losing him and apologized to him profusely when they first met, he did not hate his parents' carelessness because compared to those who did not survive, he was so lucky. Not only did he survive, moreover, I was admitted to college, had a good job, and found the other half I like. Cheng Baoqiu patted him on the shoulder. "You're welcome, family. Our children are all very good, Jiaoyang, you will understand how lucky you are to be with Xiaoun in the future." He had been familiar with Rongjun for a long time, and it was inevitable that he would look at Li Jiaoyang in a special light. There were no senior generals who had fought together who didn't know each other. Li Jiaoyang nodded. "You don't have to wait until later. I know my luck now." Since Hu Lan would sleep for a long time, he entrusted Wang Quilin to take care of Hu Lan temporarily and went to the service club himself. The supply of the army was sufficient, and not everyone had the quota to buy meat. Moreover, New Year's Day was coming, and there were fish and chicken. He got off the bus in Wuchen, went to the black market familiarly, and exchanged the things and people he brought from Shanghai for some local tickets. Li Jiaoyang has more experience than anyone else in how to live a good life. I bought meat, fish, and an old hen. I spent all the tickets I got in exchange for them. I also used the national food stamps I brought to buy some food that was only available in the army. After he left, several soldiers and some family members of the army gathered around the counter began to talk about it. Battle Commander Rong's brother is really not stingy. Did he buy it for the Lu family? That's for sure. I heard someone said that he came here in the middle of the night. He entered the Lu's house in the morning and didn't come out. When mother and son meet, they will definitely want to be together every day. I am very lucky that the family can be reunited. In that era, many people who were separated could not find their families. The fact that Rong Yuan found his younger brother was not a secret, and the relationship between Li Jiaoyang and Feng Qingyun was not a secret. There were no big secrets in the family compound. Generally, news was spread from one person to another. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1583. When Zhu Lei brought food to Rong Yuan, he also gave one to Feng Qingxiu. Comrade Jiaoyang promised Comrade Hu Lan to guard her. It was not convenient for her to go out, so she asked me to deliver it. You don't know how excited Battalion Commander Rong Yuen was. He kept shouting that he wanted to taste his brother's craftsmanship. Yes. Comrade Jiao Yang made the soup and stir-fried vegetables with the chicken and fish he bought, which made the children very happy. Fuebao and Zhuang both ate a small bowl of rice. Although Lu Zhang is very approachable, at his level, there is no need to queue up at the service center to buy groceries. Zhu Lei can go directly to pick them up, or wait for them to be delivered directly to his door. Of course, if you want to eat well, you have to queue up and buy it yourself. The country's economic difficulties are still there. Although the Lu family has overseas remittance coupons to buy a lot of grain and oil, it is difficult to eat and drink as much as they want every day, which means they can only have more food when there are guests at home. Feng Qingxiu smiled, "Hey, I have to try Comrade Jia Yang's craftsmanship." Although her sister is good at housework, she still hopes that her future brother-in-law can share the housework with her sister. Li Jiaoyang was indeed very good in all aspects, and Feng Qingxiu expressed satisfaction. "Okay, you eat first. I'll come get the lunch box later. I have to deliver it to Comrade King Yun." Comrade Jiaoyang is worried that the troops are not well fed. Zhu Lei was filled with emotions. He really cared about Feng Qingyun. Good. The artistic soldiers of the art troupe had all started eating, but Feng Qingyun didn't eat and stood on tiptoes to look outside. Before leaving home in the morning, Li Jiaoyang made an agreement with her to bring her food at noon. Seeing that it was Zhu Lei who appeared, Feng Qingyun felt a little regretful. "Sorry to trouble you, Comrade Zhu Lei." "No trouble, no trouble." Zhu Lei was very glad that he was assigned to Lu Zhang, because the Lu family treated him like a family member. After knowing that his father had Lao Han's legs, Feng Qingxiu prepared some for him. Knee pads and medicated oil were sent home. Between people, good and good are mutual. Feng Qingyun opened the lunch box, and the warm and fragrant breath hit her face. Her big eyes suddenly narrowed into crescent moons. They are all her favorite dishes, so good. "King Yun, you are so lucky." Zhong Wengziu was pregnant, and the group did not arrange for her to go out to perform. Shi Xiaohong replaced Zhong Wengziu and lived in the same dormitory as Feng Qingyun. It was clear that Wu Zhanpeng had developed feelings for Feng Qingyun. He also knew that Feng Qingyun and Li Jiaoyang were now a couple, and their development was so fast that it greatly exceeded the expectations of everyone in the group. Although Feng Qingyun is young, she has senior qualifications. She was promoted last year and the army received a report and did not interfere with her free love. Many people in the group felt pity for her that she was with an orphan and reported it vigorously. With the influence of her sister and brother-in-law and her own talents, she could still marry Wu Zhanpeng even if she did not agree to his pursuit. A very good family. No one expected that this orphan named Li Jiaoyang was actually Rong Yuan's twin brother and the son of Commander Rong. Not to mention Shi Xiaohong, the entire artistic team who came to perform with the group were shocked. Did Feng Qingyun just grab a golden son-in-law? Commander Rong finally found his son, how could he not do everything he could to treat him well? After listening to Shi Xiaohong's words, Feng Qingyun didn't think much about it, because she knew that she couldn't influence other people's thoughts. She swallowed the food in her mouth and said with a smile, "My luck has always been very good. It's not like you don't know. I have a sister who loves me, and I have a family who cares about me." Then she added in her heart that she also has a lover with whom she will grow old together. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1584. Although Li Jiaoyang came here for Feng Qingyun, his background was clear. There were still some relatives of the Rong family living in the capital, and he made several calls to Hulan to ask him to take the child back. During the limited vacation, Li Jiaoyang had to separate from Feng Qingyun, bid farewell to the Lu family, and took the opportunity to see Hulan home to see his relatives and friends. Hu Yan's health was very poor, and she had improved a little after a few days of treatment. Living in the Lu family all the time was not a good choice, but she chose to settle in Shanghai with Li Jiaoyang. She could not bear to be separated from her son. Feng Qingyun was very considerate. Go with peace of mind, we will contact you through letters later. With Li Jiaoyang, she had long been prepared to be separated from each other. Good. The thing the Lu family hates most about Li Jiaoyang is the triplets. Lu Erxiang bit his finger and said, Uncle Jiaoyang, why don't you put me in a box and take me away, so that I can eat your cooking every day? Xiang, isn't the food I cook delicious? Zhu Lei held Hu Yan's suitcase with a deliberately straight face. Lu Erxiang said cleverly, I didn't say it was not delicious, but Uncle Jiaoyang makes it even better. Li Jiaoyang touched the top of his head and said warmly, it's very cold outside. Go back to the house quickly. My uncle will prepare delicious food for you next time you have a chance. Knowing that you live here, my uncle will send you delicious food in the future. Okay then, see you grandma, see you uncle. With the departure of Hu Yan's mother and son, the Lu family quickly returned to peace. As calm as water, even if New Year's Day comes, there will be no big waves. It's snowing, the wind is like a sharp blade and the snow is like goose feathers. The elderly and children stayed at home happily warming up the brazier. Feng Qingxiu and Lu Zhang still had to work. Lu Zhang was a little better and had no important work, while Feng Qingxiu was very busy. A group of soldiers were training in the field. Unfortunately, an accident occurred. Several legs were broken and arms were broken. The 1973 draft has not yet started, and as those who enlisted last year, they are new recruits. Lu Jiang's face was so dark when he came to visit the hospital that he almost turned black and frightened these soldiers who were less than 20 years old. They had to practice, they had to practice, they had to train well, wasn't it Swilly Lalian? It's simply a shame that it's gotten to this point. Okay, let them have a good rest. Feng Qingxiu pulled him out of the ward. Lu Zhang was still very angry, looking back, I have to find out who trained the soldiers. How could it be like this? Training in the snow gave me such a result. I have to intensify my training intensity. I have to intensify my training. Okay, you have the final say. They are not the soldiers you brought out, nor are they the special forces you recently trained. Lu Zhang calmed down a little, when will you get off work? If there is no emergency, I can get off work now. Feng Qingxiu packed up the things on her desk, why don't you go to the New Year's Day performance? Xiaoun sang 3 songs in a row today. Let's go together, Lu Zhang said. Okay, put aside the children and spend some time in the world of 2 people. Although the time is short, it is still sweet. In the auditorium, Feng Qingyun stood on the stage and sang loudly. She immediately saw the shadows of her sister and brother-in-law sitting in the front row. She thought that one day, she and Li Jiaoyang would be as happy as them. With this belief, Feng Qingyun sang even more passionately. Feng Qingxiu commented in the audience, compared to before becoming a disciple of Mr. Guan, Xiaoun's aura is calmer, and he has indeed made great progress. Famous teachers produce great disciples. As soon as Lu Zhang finished speaking, he saw Lu Ran running over. I had an aspiration of 18,000, but ended up with 16,000, 16 chapters, my head hurts a bit, I will finish the remaining 2 chapters tomorrow, I caught up on an outline today, so tickets. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1585. As soon as she saw Lu Ran's shadow, Feng Qingxiu knew something was wrong. New Year's Day, today is New Year's Day. Except for those on guard duty, everyone else is on holiday. It's already very pitiful for the 2 of us that we didn't take this holiday. Why are we coming to you now? Feng Qingxiu whispered. Lu Zhang couldn't help laughing and said, I don't know. Lu Ran knew what Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu were thinking as soon as he saw what they were thinking. He ran up to him, saluted, and whispered, Leader, I have your phone number. It's from the capital. Lu Zhang stood up without hesitation and said, let's go. Put on your coat. Feng Qingxiu handed Lu Zhang the military coat that covered his legs. After answering the phone, if you have nothing to do, you can go home directly. It's time for me to go back too, so that Xiong won't cause mischief at home. People can control it. Among the triplets, Lu Erxian, who was singled out by name, lived up to his name and braved the heavy snow to build a snowman. Zhuang leaned on the glass window and looked out. Fourth brother, are you doing nothing? Dun Dun gnawed on the apple brought by Li Jiaoyang, and gave Zhuang a bite by the way. He was just idle. If he kicked the snowman to death, wouldn't the pile be in vain? Wait, whose red scarf belongs to Xiong? Blue. It looked familiar. Dun Dun pressed his face against the glass and looked carefully. Lu Erxian hummed and piled the scattered snow together, and made a snowman. He put on a scarf and a hat. Zhuang rested his elbow on the windowsill and rested his chin on his hand. Sister's scarf, just wait to see fourth brother get beaten. Fu Bao rushed out of the study, raised his hand and slapped Lu Erxian on the butt several times. Lu Erxian, you bastard, why did you give the snowman my scarf while I was painting? And my hat? Wear thick clothes in winter, and the beating will not hurt or itch. Lu Erxian jumped away, covering his butt with both hands, blinking his big innocent eyes. You look so good. The white and red ones go well together. Even if it looks good, you can't put it on the snowman. It's all wet. It's also dirty. Fu Bao took off her scarf and hat from the snowman, and she suddenly felt like crying. She copied a snow scene in her study. Just a picture. Yan followed her out and comforted, it's okay, just wash and dry it. Uncle Ye bought this for me. If Uncle Ye knew that I didn't cherish it, he would definitely be unhappy. It's okay, Dad won't be unhappy. Lu Erxian stuck out his tongue and hurriedly hid in the kitchen. Zhu Lei was rolling noodles in the kitchen, shaking his head and smiling. Xiong, can't you be more honest? Uncle Zhu, what is honesty? Can you eat it? Lu Erxian grabbed a clean radish on the chopping board and started chewing it. It was not spicy at all. You can eat radish, and you can eat noodles. You can give it to me. Do you want to crack a poached egg? Can. We all work together to save eggs for our children and ensure that they eat 1 egg a day. The preparations were done. Pour the oil into the pan and stir-fry the cabbage. Add water and bring it to a boil. After Feng Qingxiu and Lu Zhang went home, Zhu Lei put the cut noodles into the pan and cracked 5 poached eggs. Yan and Fu Bao one for each of the triplets. Fu Bao complained to his parents while eating and described Xiong as heinous. You wear Erxian's scarf tomorrow and let him suffer his own consequences with an empty neck, Feng Qingxiu said naturally. Fu Bao pouted, Xiong's scarf is ugly and smelly. You want to wear it, but I won't let you wear it yet. Lu Erxian refused to be outdone. Fu Bao was so angry that he ate 2 chopsticks of noodles. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1586. After eating, digesting, and putting the child to bed, Lu Zhang washed his daughter's scarf and hat and placed them next to the brazier. Feng Qingxiu applied Yashuang snowflake cream in front of the mirror, and also applied clam oil on her hands. There were not many skincare products stored in the space. It would last for another 5 years at most. She had to save some, such as shampoo, shower gel, etc. The supplies are enough to last 20 years. Fortunately, she pays great attention to health and good health, which is better than using any skincare products. In fact, the health of the body is often reflected in the appearance. If the body is not healthy, No matter how many skincare products you use, it will be useless. The deeper you delve into Chinese medicine, the more you understand the importance of health to beauty. After wiping her hands and face, Feng Qingxiu was soaking her feet while combing her hair with the rosewood comb collected at the scrapyard. She combed it repeatedly, and suddenly remembered the phone call during the day. What call did you answer today? Lu Jiangdao, military secrets will not be leaked. Feng Qingxiu rolled her eyes at him, but stopped asking. She didn't know the rules of the army, and she wasn't that curious about things in the army. Why didn't you ask? Lu Jiang couldn't help but asked. Looking at his expression, Feng Qingxiu knew that it was not a military secret, but she deliberately said in a considerate manner, didn't you say it was a military secret? If you leaked a military secret, you would have made a mistake. You coax me, and I'll tell you. Feng Qingxiu let out a long, drawn-out voice, but she didn't want to coax him. The two snow-white feet rubbed each other's feet in the basin. Instead, Lu Jiang squatted down to wash her feet and pressed the acupuncture points on the soles of her feet. Are you tired from standing during the surgery during the day? Your legs and feet are a little swollen. It's okay, I'm used to it. The longest operation was more than 10 hours of standing. Lu Jiang felt very distressed. Comrade Kui Xiaoyuan called me. Oh? What news was conveyed? Kui Xiaoyuan has always been in contact with them and often brings them various news. Feng Qingxiu secretly sent 7 more Angong Niuhuang pills to their family. The relationship between the two families well maintained. Lu Jiangdao, the fact that the wrong family found the child was not hidden from the outside world. Comrade Hu Lan took Jiao Yang to visit relatives and friends. Everyone with high rankings knew about it. During the day, when watching the New Year's Day performance in the auditorium, someone saw Jiao Yang's talent and wanted to be a matchmaker for him. What? Where did King Yun leave their family? Kui Xiaoyuan was present at the time and heard Comrade Hu Lan say that Jiao Yang already had a partner, so he politely declined everyone's kindness. Feng Qingxiu patted her heart and said, it shows that Comrade Hu Lan really understands justice. Li Jiaoyang likes Feng Qingxiu, and Hu Lan supports her. There is almost no need to worry about her future marriage. Yes, Comrade Hu Lan understands justice very well. Someone asked Jiao Yang about the situation of the person he was talking to, about composition and work, etc. He probably thought that Jiao Yang grew up in an orphanage and could not find anyone who was excellent in all aspects. Object: as soon as Comrade Hu Lan said our little sister's name, both Comrade Du Wan and Comrade Wu Zanling's faces turned green. Feng Qingxiu interrupted him, wait a minute, what's wrong with Wu Zanpeng's mother, Wu Zanpeng's sister? Lu Jiang smiled, both mother and daughter are present, and the person who asked this question is Du Wan. Feng Qingyun, who was abandoned by their family and was regarded as a treasure by the wrong family, and Hu Lan, became indirectly related to the Lu family. However, his youngest son was still alone while working abroad. Recently, no one was willing to be a matchmaker. Can Du Wan feel better? Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1587. Du Wan was not only uncomfortable, she was simply sitting on pins and needles, at a loss as to what to do. Wu Zanpeng's pursuit of Feng Qingyun is not a secret. Wu Zanling's remarks against Feng Qingyun in Quanzhou have long been spread. At that time, many senior officials were eating roast duck in Quanzhou, but they didn't see it but heard it in their ears. Feng Qingyun did not accept Wu Zanpeng's pursuit, but still had to marry into a family of their level. The Rong family is not inferior to theirs. The generation before Commander Rong is a powerful old Red Army soldier, the family is very prosperous. Du Wan always felt that everyone was looking at them strangely, as if they were mocking her, and it was like a needle pricking her. If she hadn't wanted to give up the opportunity to socialize, she would have left the show early with her daughter. After finally making it to the end of the performance, the mother and daughter left in a hurry, and Kui Xiaoyuan also made the call to Lu Zhang. Coincidentally, Commander Rong and Kui Xiaoyuan are brothers-in-law, and Hu Lan and Kui Xiaoyuan's wife Hu Mei are biological sisters, and they have a very good relationship. The happiest person to find Li Jiaoyang is Hu Mei. Brother-in-law, Feng Qingxiu didn't expect it at all. No wonder people have always said that if you live in the same circle, you will always be related to each other. Compared with the broad masses of the people, the circle may be big or small, but it is just a group of people, and not many people squeeze in every year. Feeling that the water in the basin was not too hot, Lu Zhang picked up the hot water bottle next to him and poured some hot water into the basin. Yes, brother-in-law, Comrade Kui Xiaoyuan and Commander Rong are brothers-in-law, dear, and Comrade Kui Xiaoyuan's daughter married. He became the nephew of Army Commander Rong, so he became a close relative, and the relationship between the two families was very good. Feng Qingxiu shook her head and smiled. I see. I have to carefully write down the relationship between each family in my notebook another day, so as not to make jokes when I meet people and not know that they are related. This is necessary, so as not to gossip about that family in front of this family, and it turns out they are relatives. That's what Feng Qingxiu thought. Sometimes I think about it, it's not easy for people in the upper class. Just interpersonal relationships are enough to keep people busy. Relatively speaking, the army is much simpler. Okay, it's getting late. Go to bed early. You have to go to work tomorrow. The group of soldiers who entered the hospital today will have to go and see them tomorrow. Lu Zhang thought to himself, picked up a towel and wiped his wife's feet. I washed my feet with water. Early the next morning, when Feng Qingxiu woke up, Lu Zhang had already left, leaving before dawn. Fu Bao was wearing a dried scarf and hat. His red face was very happy. Mom, have you thanked Dad for me? She didn't see Lu Zhang when she woke up early. She must have gone to work. Feng Qingxiu put down the porridge bowl, rinsed her mouth, and picked up her first aid kit. You can thank your father when you see him. Okay, I'm going to the hospital. Be careful when you and brother Yayan go to school. Don't slip. Goodbye, Mom, Fu Bao waved. She and the triplets are used to the busy life of Mom and Dad every day, and she also has to go to school. The snow stopped last night. Although the snow was very thick, the snow on the ground had been cleared by the soldiers. Feng Qingxiu pulled off her scarf and took a breath, feeling her heart cool. Dr. Feng, wait for me. Lu Yan called her from behind and caught up a moment later, holding onto the khaki canvas bag she was carrying crossbody with both hands. Can I take half a day off in the afternoon? Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1588. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled. Of course you can when the hospital is not busy. If it is busy, you have to change shifts with others. We cannot affect the operation of the hospital. Thank you, Dr. Feng, Lu Yan suddenly beamed. Lu Yan's leave did not affect Feng Qingxiu's work. There were many nurses in the hospital responsible for giving injections and fluids. However, there was no emergency room today. Feng Qingxiu was drinking water from an enamel jar in the office. At this time, the phone rang. Hey, I don't fight unprepared battles. I'm Feng Qingxiu. Feng Qingxiu picked up the phone and said the first sentence smoothly. It's me, Qingxiu. Tang Ji's voice sounded from the other end. Did it disturb your work? A smile appeared on Feng Qingxiu's face. No, I'm not busy right now. My sister-in-law called me, but she has something important to ask me for. We are not outsiders, so just speak up. Tang Ji calmly said, I really have something to ask of you. What's the matter? Tell me. I asked Xiaoxiu to find you and stay with you for a while. Feng Qingxiu was stunned. Just come, why bother to make a phone call? Tang Ji sighed, I asked her to go to your place to avoid trouble. Can you not say hello? She can do housework and take care of the children. I also brought her a lot of food stamps, but I have to trouble you. Please help me pay attention to her mental state. What's going on? Feng Qingxiu immediately sat upright. This is a family scandal. I didn't want it to be spread outside, but since you are not an outsider, I will tell you straight away. Tang Ji lowered his voice. Her aunt introduced a partner to her niece, who is also a high-ranking student. He is good in all aspects, which is also good for her niece. They are happy to see it happen, and the daily necessities for the wedding are almost ready. Who knows that the other party suddenly regrets the marriage, and Xiaoxiu becomes a joke. Feng Qingxiu frowned. Repent of the marriage? Why did you regret the marriage? There must be a reason, right? What does it have to do with Xiaoxiu? Tang Ji gritted his teeth and said, that brat met Xiu at her aunt's house. When he got back, he made a fuss about breaking off the engagement, saying that he fell in love with Xiu at first sight. Do you think it's disgusting or not? It's not just disgusting, it's simply a disaster. Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but frown. No. Xiaoxiu has been well behaved since she was a child. Until she is 16 years old, she has never suffered any grievances, yet she has suffered such unfair injustice. There are many people with mixed opinions, and you also know that many people, instead of resenting the culprit, she thought it was Xiaoxiu who sent Humiiza to seduce her future cousin-in-law and ruined her aunt's cousin's lifelong event. Now that Xiaoxiu is young and can't think about it, she cries day and night. He even refused to go to school because that brat blocked the door every day and wanted to pursue him. He even refused to give up after being beaten by the old man, which made a big fuss. What's that man's name? I don't know. Feng Qingxiu hates the harshness of people towards girls in this kind of thing. She also particularly hates the actions of the male protagonist in the topic. Does he think he is a domineering president? Tang Ji wiped the corners of his eyes and said, my name is Su Ming. He is one of Su Junqi's sons. He is really not a good person. Su Ming lives with his mother in the capital. I can't get away from taking care of him, and I don't worry about Xiaoxiu going to the Beizu army. As for her dad, I can only leave it to you. I think she really likes the triplets, so let her take care of the kids for you. The more naughty the two bears are, the better it will save her from having to worry about these things. Today I have to measure the area of the homestead and house, which wasted time. I am determined to update 12,000, and will continue to update the game tickets in the evening. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1589. As she grows older, Luo Xiaoxiu becomes very beautiful. She has a delicate oval seed face, watery almond-shaped eyes, a rosy cherry mouth, eyebrows as dark as black, and skin as smooth as cream. Aside from her bloated and old-fashioned green military uniform, she looks exactly like an ancient lady. The beauty coming down. Feng Qingxiu, who came to pick her up, took a breath. No wonder Su Ming fell in love at first sight. Such beauties are rare. Among the young girls, except for Feng Qingyun, no one can compare to Luo Xiaoxiu based on appearance and temperament. However, Feng Qingyun is bright and generous, while Luo Xiaoxiu is clear and soft. Aunt Lu, affected by the Su Ming incident, Luo Xiaoxiu was in a bad mood and her eyes were still a little red and swollen, but she still ran to her as soon as she saw Feng Qingxiu. She followed the flow of people out of the train and out of the station, and saw Feng Qingxiu at a glance. She hadn't seen her for several years, but she still looked so good looking. Feng Qingxiu held her hand. Your hands are so cold, why aren't you wearing gloves? Luo Xiaoxiu was a little embarrassed. I was in such a hurry that I forgot about it, but I wore thick clothes. Feng Qingxiu took off her gloves, put them on her regardless of her obstruction, stretched out her legs and kicked the brat who was tied to her with a scarf. Seong, you came out with me so shamelessly, why didn't you call someone? Call me sister. Lu Erxian, who was looking around, finally looked back and turned to Luo Xiaoxiu's face. Sister Xiaoxiu. Seong still knows me? He's so good. Luo Xiaoxiu touched his head, but ended up touching his leather hat. Sister brought you a lot of delicious and fun things. Can I share them with you when I get home? Good. Lu Erxian's eyes lit up. Sister, you can give me some first and then divide it evenly when you get home. Luo Xiaoxiu was stunned and quickly reacted. Okay, you can eat a bag of donkey and wallow first. Luo Xiaoxiu took it out of her satchel and wrapped it tightly in oil paper. This was what her mother had prepared for her to eat in the car, but she was not in the mood to eat it. Sister Xiaoxiu, you are such a good sister. Lu Erxian held the paper bag and narrowed his eyes. It's great, I can eat one more bag of donkey and roll around than my elder brothers, sisters, and younger brothers. As long as the children have no problems in principle, Feng Qingxiu doesn't care much about their little things. She reaches out to pick up Luo Xiaoxiu's suitcase and luggage bag. Let's go home. Lu Erxian, don't eat in the wind. Get to the car, eat again. Lu Erxian sighed like a little adult. Mom, you are so strict. Although the situation gradually improved, Feng Qingxiu did not dare to relax. She was very careful about the impact and did not let anyone drive Lu Jiang's car. Instead, she took Lu Erxian to pick up Luo Xiaoxiu by bus. There were several buses from the army to in the urban area. There is a separate line that passes through the train station. It is set up to facilitate soldiers traveling between the army and their hometown, and also to facilitate them entering the city. There were not many people in the car, but there were quite a few. It was almost full, and there were a bunch of soldiers among them. It's sister-in-law, it's sister-in-law. It's Dr. Feng. Sister-in-law, sit over here, sit over here. When they saw Feng Qingxiu getting on the bus, someone immediately offered their seat to them with a very attentive attitude. Feng Qingxiu did not refuse. She took Luo Xiaoxiu and Lu Erxian to sit down together, and said with a smile, Shiniu, don't you have any tasks and don't need to train today? Why are you all running to the city? Shiniu is a soldier under Rong Yuan. He often brings food to Rong Yuan and takes care of Rong Yuan conveniently. He has seen him many times and is naturally familiar with him. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1590. Shiniu chuckled and said, we just completed a mission 2 days ago. The team gave us 2 days off, so we came to the city to walk around. We found that there were not as many things as our army, so we came empty-handed. Go back empty-handed. Sister-in-law, who is this lesbian next to you? The half of her little face exposed under the scarf was so pretty, white and juicy. Except for Dr. Feng and Battalion Commander Rong's younger siblings, they had never seen a prettier lesbian than her. Feng Qingxiu slapped him on the arm. After giving up his seat, Shiniu stood next to Feng Qingxiu and received such a slap without any hindrance. Sister-in-law. This is the daughter of our old friend. She is not as thick-skinned and rough as all of you. She came to live with me for a while. You brats are not allowed to go back and talk nonsense, otherwise you will come to my place for medical treatment next time. I'll give you a few more injections. Don't talk nonsense, don't talk nonsense, promise not to talk nonsense. Shiniu made a sealing gesture. Just kidding, there are so many people in the army, and there are many brothers from the big courtyard joining the army every year. What should I do if I keep an eye on this little girl? Even though they all have a crush on the little girl, they know in their hearts that the little girl's family must be extraordinary, and it is not something they, the grassroots soldiers from rural areas, can dream about. Lu Erxian had already opened the paper wrapping the donkey roll, and there were only 8 pieces of donkey roll inside. Seong, why don't you eat? Luo Xiaoxiu noticed that he was biting his lower lip with a very distressed expression. There are too many people, not enough. I thought that if there were only my mother and sister around, they would definitely not eat, and then they would all give it to themselves, but now I saw a large group of people, all brothers in the army, and if I didn't give it to them, they would definitely, it will be sad. Lu Erxiang is about to cry. His donkey is rolling. It is not easy for him to eat more than his elder brothers, sisters, and brothers. After hearing this, Feng Qingxiu suddenly felt a sense of relief in her heart. Unknowingly, the most naughty Lu Erxiang also became sensible, so there is a reason why everyone likes him, right? Mom won't eat, Feng Qingxiu said. Luo Xiaoxiu followed closely and said, 2 bears, I won't eat either. How could Shenyu and the others not understand what Erxiang meant? He laughed and said, Erxiang, we are adults. Adults don't eat what children eat, so you can eat it yourself. Donkey roll, delicious donkey roll, Lu Erxiang said seriously. We know it's a donkey rolling around, but we don't like eating it, so Erxiang can just eat it by himself. As the donkey was rolling, Lu Erxiang put it on Feng Qingxiu's lap. He grabbed one with each hand and scanned everyone with his eyes. It's you who don't want to eat, it's not that I don't give it to you. Yes, we won't eat it, we understand it? Lu Erxiang whined and ate happily, his cheeks bulging like a little hamster. Luo Xiaoxiu held her chin up and looked at Lu Erxiang's eating habits. She had no time to think about her depression, and, Erxiang is so good. No wonder my mother told my sister-in-law that when raising children, they must learn from you and Uncle Lu, love but not spoil, use your own words and deeds influence children. Erxiang knows how to share at such a young age. It must be done by adults often, right? Before Feng Qingxiu could answer, Erxiang nodded sharply, if you don't share the food with everyone, the brothers will be sad, and the sister will be spanked. The sister is so bad, didn't I just put her scarf and hat on the snowman, Dad has been cleaned up. How dare you say that, Feng Qingxiu pinched his nose.